is on the stand. Let's take a quick look over it. It's got the witch hat knobs on it, as I explained. Stop bar, bridge there. Got Squier on the, if I come out of the way so you don't see me. It's got Squier on the pickup covers instead of Fender. I like these with Fender on. What Squier would do. Looks like the same scratch plate as you'll find on the new Epiphone, to be honest. I don't know whether it is. Some lovely binding. It's like double binding, I think they call that. But the binding is fantastic. Just on the body, not on the neck, but the neck's lovely. This is a C profile. The advert I actually read said it was a modern C, but it's not. It's just C. It's a bit thicker than modern C. Still a nice slim neck, but it is thicker than a modern C. But the rest of the specs you can look up online. I just think you should be made aware that it's not as thin as a modern C neck, but it looks fantastic. It really does. I'll say the binding is much better than, say, the Epiphone binding. It really is a beautiful guitar. There's no sharp frets on it, so that was good. The nut looks very high, but it all needs to set up anyway. I got it out of the box. It was nearly in tune out of the box, which I thought was amazing. But all these strings here, I'll show you when I go to do it, hit the back of that bridge, which is not good. And the action is a bit high. I think the neck's a bit straight as well. So it doesn't bother me because I set up all my guitars anyway. But if you want to play this out of the box, it is playable, but it is a bit buzzy. It does really need a setup. So it really should have been set up. But I got it for quite a cheap price online, and it wasn't, I got it from Bax Music, but it wasn't in the normal Bax box that I normally get when I buy from there. It was just a normal Fender box that came straight probably from a main depot, so I don't think anyone actually set it up. Let's turn it round. There's the back of it. Beautiful colour, beautiful woodwork there. Don't know whether that's coming across. But as I said, this is not coming from, like, you know, the back shop. Normally they set them up nice. But this has not had a setup. This has obviously just been played and tested and sent out. But Indonesia there is. I thought there was vintage tuners. The vintage style, but they haven't got the slot that I like. But it's no big deal. But I suppose the best thing to do there is just plug it in and see how it sounds. Straight out of the box, it's set up really badly. Almost to the point where it can't actually be played. The action is really high. The intonation's all over the place. So I'm not even going to bother trying to show you how this sounds just yet. We'll just have a look at it. Like I say, it's a brilliant design. And it feels lovely. The neck feels lovely. Like a typical, obviously, C shape. Headstock you either love or hate, but I mean it feels lovely. It's lovely and gliding. It's very glossy, which I don't normally like, but it's very smooth and you move up and down it. It's got a bone nut, and apart from the issues of it that I'm going to set up right now and then come back to you. Well, here it is on the bench. Let's just have a look over it. It really is well made, this guitar. I know I could go on about that binding, but it really is lovely. And to get binding in the F-holes at this price range, I think it's stunning. Anyway, let's get on with this bridge. Now, this is a Tune-o-matic bridge, very similar to the Gibson bridge. Look, with the pins, which is surprising. Not the screws that the Epiphones normally have. Now, these wide-ranging humbuckers used to have Fender on them on the classic vibes, but they changed them over to do the Squier ones now. Obviously, I prefer the Fender, look much better. But whether they sound any better, I don't know. I don't know whether they changed the pickup or just the cover. I would think they changed the pickup. There's also a rumour that these are humbuckers just with the wide-ranging cover on them. But we'll see when we try it out. And then the witch hat knobs, get them in focus. they're fine. Bit cheap feeling, but they're fine. They do the job. Now the pots, I may get a camera in there, but I think they're full size pots, so they wouldn't need upgrading at all. Now the strings up close, now I'm zooming in, some are touching the back of the bridge here, so they need to be all off like this one, so they need a bit of clearance, otherwise they snap. They cause string breakages. Now this here, you can see, is up quite all right there. This is really down a lot. This highes and lowers the action on your guitar, and the stop bar takes the tension out and adjusts the break point across the back. Now this is all the way down. Now this may need to come up a little, just to, especially this end, just to give the strings clearance off this bridge. Otherwise, when you're hitting the guitar, it could cause string breakages. So it just needs to come up a bit. The action needs to be lowered on this guitar because it is quite bad. The neck needs adjusting, definitely, so I'll be doing that as well. The frets, as far as I can tell, are all right, but I'll look at all those. But it definitely needs a setup. This is quite bad. The nut felt quite high. This is a bone nut. I'm surprised by it, but it's a bone nut on this guitar. But that's what really needs to be done. So rather than bore you, this scratch pattern I'm going to take off as well. And see what it's like. That'll leave quite a big hole, I would have thought. It's quite a big screw in there. So see how it looks. I like to see how they look without the scratch plate on. So I'll be doing that after I've set the guitar up. But our first job is to set this guitar up properly so I can actually play it, or so it can actually be played, because it'll obviously be moved on after the review. But like I say, overall, it's a beautiful guitar, so I can't wait to get stuck in with it. Now this is all set up, I've completed that, but what I want to do before I plug it in is to test the pickups, and I want to see under this scratch plate. Now, as a rule, I like to know what the guitar looks like without the scratch plate on. Plus, I want to see how big that hole is because it's quite a hefty screw they've used in the front there, so I think it's going to leave quite a noticeable hole, but let's have a look anyway. There we go, and yeah, it's quite a big hole. See that? A bit chipped and all. But now some people put crown wax in there just to hide it, but it's quite noticeable, but not too bad. What I have seen is to here. See that? Now you get that a lot on cheap guitars. It's a little scratch that comes from the nut, see, or the screw at the back. They should really cover that nut with some black tape, which is what I'll do when I put it back on. But what we'll do now is we'll test these pickups. Now if I turn that round so you can see, we'll give it a quick test. Now this is the bridge pickup first. Which is just over 8, which ain't bad. Could be a humbucker, could be a wide range. Quite common reading that. Now the neck pickup won't be as hot, I shouldn't think. No, a little bit less, 765. So again, normal reading for a humbucker or a wide range, and in the middle, just for luck, it should be about half of that, which is 3.91. There you go, so that's the pickup readings. So all that's left now is I'll put that back on after I cover up that screw, and then we'll see what she sounds like. Right, now we're back and it's all set up and it looks much better. Whether you can see that there, looks so much better. Anyway, I'm going to take you through some clean sounds. So this is the bridge pickup. both pickups. And now the neck pickup. Lovely warm sounding wide range humbuckers there, lovely warm. So let's add a bit of dirt to it. This is where it gets fun, trust me. Sound already. Now that's the neck pickup. Both pickups. And the bridge pickup. So as you can tell, beautiful pickups and really quite versatile. Both on the clean tones, switch that off now, both on the clean tones and the distorted tones. Fantastic guitar, and there it's had a setup. So in conclusion, this is a stunning guitar. Really is lovely, lovely to play. The pickups are fine, nothing wrong with them pickups. I don't know whether it's true, whether they're humbuckers or not, or wide range. They certainly sound like wide range to me, but they've really got some bite. They like a bit of distortion, but you can get nice clean tones out of this guitar as well. Like I say, fretboard is absolutely fine, and the neck is lovely, lovely and smooth, doesn't stick at all. Lovely bone nut. The tuners I thought were vintage, but they're not, but they're just fine. Little buttons on them. I suppose that's in keeping with the original Starcasters. But it's a real high-end Squier. I'll say the classic vibes are often really great. The binding, you know I love. Everything on it is fantastic. There's not a problem with it at all. I couldn't find any downsides, apart from the quality control, that little scratch underneath the scratch plate, and the way it was set up. I mean, it wasn't really set up, so you'd have had to do a lot of work. So if you was a beginner, you would have had to take that back to the shop, or if you bought it online, to a shop and pay for a setup, because it did need quite a big setup. That needed lowering, so the action come down. The neck needed sorted out with the truss rod. I mean, it don't take long if you know what you're doing, but if you didn't know what you was doing, you would have come across some problems, and it weren't really playable. The intonation was out. It sounded awful, to be honest, and didn't feel great. But now, as it stands, fantastic. So for the price, I think it definitely rivals the Epiphone. But see what you think if you want to get one. But I would definitely recommend it. Next review I'm going to do is of a Gretsch, but come back next time and see that one. Thanks for watching, and as usual, please like, subscribe. It really helps me out. It helps me to do these videos that often help you out. Thanks very much. Until next time, see you soon.